Welcome to another episode of Love Living Local 315. We are your hosts, Scott and Kelly Greats, and we are coming to you from the Impact X recording studio in downtown Utica for the first time ever. Today, we're joined by Cristi Kaido, founder of the Mindful Mixer, Central New York's first mobile mocktail bar and wellness experience. She's here to share her powerful story, her new book, The 12 Sips of Christmas, and how she's helping people slow down and sip with intention. I need the slow down part.
Yeah. We could benefit from a lot of this.
We book these, Cristi, out of pure selfishness. We like to pick the brains of our guests and learn. So we'll invite the audience to join along. But
I think a lot of people have the same struggles we do. So I think this is going to be super beneficial for a ton of people.
All right. So I want to start with mindfulness because this word confuses a lot of people. And maybe it's because there's depth to it in different versions or definitions. So what is Cristi Kaido's definition of mindfulness?
You see what I just did right there? I took a breath. So I'm going to be present. I'm going to be in the moment for this podcast. And what that really means for me is slowing down, really noticing your environment, really enjoying the things that are happening in your life. And mindfulness is just being present. It's so important. We need to slow down. We need time to savor what's going on in our lives.
I am so distracted as a person. Scott knows this all the time. We'll be doing something. And he's like, "What are you thinking about right now?
Where are you?
Where are you right now?" Because I'm not. A lot of times I catch myself not being present and in the moment, and always worried about things that haven't happened, might not happen. So this is definitely something that I know I struggle with, and I think a ton of people do that are trying to be a parent, a good employee, a daughter, a sibling, whatever. Like, I feel like we take on so much that it's just so hard sometimes just to be present with where you are right now. So that's definitely something I need to work on. So how did the idea of combining mocktails and mindfulness first come to life?
Yeah, so I was a bartender for a period of time. I'm a certified nutrition coach and a certified wellness coach. And I thought that, I could teach people about the health benefits of mocktails through some workshops, but then I can also teach them how to sip and savor and sip intentionally and be mindful and not just appreciate the nutrition benefits of the ingredients in my mocktails during my workshops, but appreciate some of the origin story of these ingredients. Where do they come from? A lot of them, there have literally been wars fought over for these ingredients. And, we're eating and we're drinking, we're going a million miles an hour, and we're not taking that time to be present and really appreciate that. So my goal is to share that experience with people, be present, be in the moment, be mindful. In addition to learning about the ingredients, we take a moment to do a little mindful sipping reflection where we sip, we taste the drink, we hold it on our tongue, we really get to take note of all the flavors in the drink. And then there's a little mindful reflection that there's some prompts that I guide people through, and we get to journal on it. And just those simple, tiny moments. So I think, combining mocktails is fun and a unique way to bring mindfulness to people's mind.
And the market for this is huge right now because it is so acceptable now to say, I don't drink. Like, I don't drink alcohol. And so I'm wondering, do you use adaptogens? I know that there's a huge market for that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're using, what sort of things are you using in your mocktails? Are there calming effects to it?
Yeah, so all sorts of different ingredients. I usually try to use fresh fruits, and in some of my mocktails, in the 12 Sips of Christmas, I have things like chaga, everything that has these crazy health benefits, superfoods, and I want to let people know that you can put those in a drink and sip it and feel good mentally, emotionally, physically. So yeah.
Yeah.
When I think, obviously the alcohol has adverse health, we don't need to talk about that. But then with mixed drinks in general, usually they're high in sugar right? Calories. So you're actually doing healthy mocktails.
Absolutely, yeah. So they're wellness mocktails. So you won't find any white sugar or nasty ingredients or red dyes. For specific colors for mocktails, like baby shower or gender reveal. If the baby is going to be a boy, I use blue spirulina to change the color of the mocktail, and obviously there's health benefits to that. And I use honey, maple syrup; those are kind of my sweeteners. Just making sure that all of the ingredients in my drinks have health benefits, are good for you, as long as you're drinking them in moderation. I'm not saying to drink these mocktails every single day and you're gonna be, super fit and super healthy. This is something to celebrate. It's just like a cocktail. You're gonna celebrate. You're gonna have fun. You're gonna drink it, and it's gonna be good for you on those special occasions.
For sure. And I think at times you need that in a social setting when everybody else is having a real drink. If you're drinking a mocktail, nobody knows anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's what you're comfortable with and that's what you want to do and it makes you feel better.
Absolutely.
And you don't have those effects the next day, it's definitely beneficial.
Absolutely.
Okay. So for someone who's never attended a mindful mixer workshop, can you walk us through what to expect?
Well, expect to laugh. Expect to, just thoroughly enjoy yourself, be present. But what you're going to do is you're going to mix up a delicious mocktail. Everyone gets a shaker bottle, a muddler, a stir stick, and so they get their bar kit, and I walk them through how to make the mocktail step by step. So I'll bring all of the ingredients, and as they're making the mocktail and putting the ingredient into their shaker bottle or muddling it, I talk about those health benefits and maybe a little bit of an origin story from the ingredients. And then, as I said before, we get to sip, we get to savor. So as when we're done making the drink, they get to smell the drink, they get to look at the drink, really connect with it and think about, does this remind me of a certain memory that I have? Does this ingredient, can I sense this more than the other? Being mindful, being present. I am the mindful mixer, and that is what I try to squeeze into these workshops. And then we do the little mindful reflection at the end. They all go home with a recipe card, so they get to sip, savor, and do the same thing at home. My main goal is education and wanting to provide that space for the future for them as well.
That's awesome.
So private parties or events or both?
All of the above, Scott. Yeah, man. So I've done a lot of public workshops. I've partnered with places like Vine and Fig in Rome. It's one of my favorite restaurants. We did a summer reset series where we had 30 minutes of yoga each month, June, July, August, and September. We had fourth Sunday of every month. 30 minutes of yoga started out with, then my mocktail workshop seasonal. So 1 month was apple, 1 month was blueberry, 1 month was strawberry, watermelon, things like that. And then there was a nourishing breakfast that went along with it. So that's just one of the events. Baby showers. I make sure that I tie the mocktail to the theme of the party. There was a tea party themed baby shower that I did. So I did 2 tea-based mocktails, and I created a special little storybook for the mom to be and then soon the baby to be. And it talked about the event. It talked about the baby shower, and then it gave them the recipes so they can make them together with the mindful reflection notes in the back.
That's so awesome, especially you're thinking holiday parties, you're thinking something unique that you can do even for a company, a company party, because a lot of times if you're providing alcohol at a company party, that's not great because they have to get home from the company
liability,
party.
Cal.
Exactly. Always got to think of that. But dry January, so many people, we did it last year. We've done it the last couple of years. And I guess what we struggle with is, what are we going to do? Mm-hmm. There's nothing if we're not drinking, we can't go out, we can't do anything. This is a great thing. Even for book clubs too. I know a ton of girls that do book clubs and to have this.
Cristi, my wife's turning this into a marketing thing.
Let's go.
I think it's a great idea.
Well, there are going to be events in January. There's going to be events every single month for people. And you know what? Think about pregnant women who can't drink, or they're breastfeeding, or people going through recovery and they don't want to drink or can't drink. And this is providing a space for so many different people, so many different walks of life, from a 6-year-old girl and her mom to a grandmother to a pregnant woman with her significant other. There's so many opportunities.
Or even people that are on a health journey to get into your other, I mean, you do personal training, you're a nutritionist. For people that are really trying to make themselves the best version of themselves, cutting down on alcohol, not saying totally cutting out, but cutting down on alcohol is one thing that you definitely need to do.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
So this still allows you to have fun and feel like you're drinking a fancy beverage and not just a bottle of water.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's dig into your past. You talk about growing up in mom's kitchen and a lot of the just happy moments and memories. And so how did those early foundational years kind of shape your journey?
Sure. So we grew up pretty poor. We would collect bottles and cans all throughout the year for extra money. We grew up with food stamps, low-income housing. But, some memories that I have from my childhood is my mom bringing together people from the neighborhood, those kids from the neighborhood, also in poor, low-income housing situations. And she would bring them in, and she had this huge cookie bowl. We would all put our hands in the bowl, and we were mixing these ingredients. And she's saying, okay, do half a teaspoon of this and a tablespoon of that. And these kids are having fun, and they're off the streets. She's keeping them safe. But she's also teaching us about community. And that is a huge component of wellness, that, connection with other people, the laughing, the community. And that's what I bring into my workshops, that very same experience. I'm teaching you, there's educational benefits to it, but, there are people who have come in and they just wanted to try it out by themselves. They come in, they're very quiet, they start out, and then, they're laughing, they're talking to people next to them. And I've been getting such amazing feedback, like I was not expecting that, or this was the best part of my week or my year, just being able to be present and have that community. So what my mom instilled in me during those times, like, I could have looked back and been like, oh, we were poor. No, but we learned the importance of community and connection.
Yeah, awesome. And then let's go to 2020 because that's a pretty jarring story as well. And, sometimes we appreciate life a little more when we realize we're immortal, right? And so you had a little bit of a health scare. You want to take us through that?
Sure. So in January of 2020, right before the world shut down with the pandemic, my world almost shut down. I had a 6-inch blood clot near my heart. I woke up one day and I had a very dark vein coming from my heart going all the way down my arm, and the tips of my fingers started to turn dark purple. My right arm was the size, like 2 or 3 times the size as my left arm. And I went to the hospital and they were imaging around my heart. I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, we need to get you to Syracuse as soon as possible and in the operating room. I'm like, what? So got in the operating room when I got out there, and over the course of several days, they had a few different surgeries. I had, like I said, I had a 6-inch blood clot near my heart. Yeah. But the surgeon told me that if it was not for my health, I was working out, I was eating healthy, I was keeping stress low, I was making sure I was getting my sleep. I was a health fanatic, but this happened to me. And if it was not for my health, I would not be here today. And he told me that. I was like, wow, mic drop, because this is why I'm here. I'm going to share this story with people and let people know, like, that fitness and nutrition and, being healthy is not just something luxurious or looking good on Instagram. It can save your life, whether that be mentally or physically, or you get into a near-death situation like that. So I became certified in personal training so I could teach people about fitness. And that made me realize the gap between nutrition and training. So I got certified in nutrition coaching. And then, the mindful component, the being present, being in the moment was so huge and important to me. And then overall wellness as a whole circle. So I got certified to become a wellness coach as well. And then I started this company, the Mindful Mixer.
I love it.
I'm glad that you brought that up too, because a lot of people think, if I go to the gym and I work out for an hour every day, like, I'm healthy. But then you're putting processed foods in your body.
Yeah.
You're not getting good sleep. It is so important. And one of I listened to a podcast and it says, like, your body is a gift. You're given a gift, and you have to decide what you're going to do with that gift. And you don't get another one. Like no matter how hard, well, some people try to change their bodies, but whatever. We won't get into that. That's a whole different podcast.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the book. 12 Sips of Christmas. Where'd the idea come from?
So actually, as the year unfolded, I started this business back in April. I was coming into the summertime, and I'm like, I need to start thinking ahead. Like, what am I going to do for the winter time, and how can I bring this experience to people? And I'm like, I'm going to do all these events all over the valley, central New York. I'm going to do, two workshops here and a workshop here. And I was like, I could call it the 12 Sips of Christmas. And I started to lay out this plan of different locations and and I'm like, whoa, Cristi, slow down. That is way too much, way too fast.
Scott can definitely relate to that.
Let's be mindful. Yeah. But what if I wrote a book, What if I wrote a book and I brought this to people's homes, and you can bring your daughter, you can do this with your daughter, you can do this with your husband, you can do this with your family, have a little mocktail party, and bring that mindful mixer experience home with them by, making these mocktails, being present, understanding the health benefits of the ingredients, sipping intentionally. And then I just started writing away. My grandfather passed away in July, and shortly after he passed away, I found a note. It out of nowhere, it came out of a cabinet that I was looking through, and it was a note he wrote me 20 years ago. And it was after we had been done painting his house, me and my cousins, and he wrote this note of gratitude, and he talked about ladder to the top. He called it the ladder to the top, the climb. And he's like, what you did this summer, it was scorching, it was hot, you all could have given up. He's like, but you didn't, and you were here for us, and you can overcome anything. You can do anything that you want to do, and I'm so proud of you, Crystal. And that essentially was the note, and I was just kind of coming to the idea of starting this book, and I'm like, Grandpa, I'm doing it. So I'm dedicating the book to him, which is really special to me.
That's awesome. Take us through the book. Is it instructional? Is it a recipe book? Is it what is it?
Yeah. So it's a little bit of both. All of the mocktail recipes in there, I curated on my own. There are some healthy syrups in there as well, with the infusions of either rosemary or thyme, things like that. Think of the holidays. But yeah, so 12 days of Christmas. It is literally like an advent calendar. Yeah. So there's 12 different recipes, and on each day you open up the book, you figure out what recipe there is, and then you have a little mindful reflection. So again, I guide you through the recipe, talk about, how to make it. Then there are little wellness notes along with it, and then the mindful sip and reflection. Like before you sip, take a moment to notice the vibrant jewel red color in your glass. Bring it to your nose and breathe in the rosemary, a grounding herb that's been traditionally connected with focus and clarity. And those are just a few things in the book. Each day you're going to be able to do this and be mindful, that big buzzword, but that is at the heart of what I do.
So your ingredients, are they easy to find?
Yeah, so a lot of them you can find just right on Amazon. I typically get them at, Hannaford or Walmart. And, if you want to scoot out to Wegmans, which I love Wegmans. I wish we had one closer.
Sore subject.
I know. I also get a lot of my ingredients from Thrive Organic Market. It's, it's just like a subscription online grocery store. But most of the ingredients you can just order right from Amazon.
That's great.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, so now my mind's spinning. Shocker. To prepare for this, so when are the 12 days of Christmas? Is this leading right into, or can it be any 12 days in December?
It can be any 12 days. You can buy the book now and start it. It doesn't, there are no rules.
I like the advent calendar thing, though. It kind of brings me back to my childhood.
Yeah.
Where it was
ooh, day number 1.
Every day to get up and get that candy.
Like something to look forward to.
Candy
skip the candy. But how do I prepare, right? Is there a list of ingredients? How do I get ready for this?
is, yeah. So at the
you need
end,
a shopping list.
so there is.
I need, and you know me, I need a very detailed shopping list.
Are you going to tell them where to find it in the store too? Because I get that phone call all the time.
I'm not, but I
Stores
thought
are
about that.
confusing.
I'm like, do I tell them how to source these ingredients? But I do have in the back of the book, there is a shopping list. So it tells you all
Awesome.
of the ingredients that you'll need for the whole entire book. If you want to just get them all at once, there's a little checklist so you can say, okay, I got my cacao and I got my mint leaves and, all of the things that you're going to need for the recipes in the book. I made sure that I was extremely mindful. And then also some of the syrups that you'll be making, they're specialty syrups, but you are going to use them a few times throughout the book in a different mocktail recipes. Each recipe is unique and special, but I was mindful of that so you don't have a ton of ingredient left over and you made the special syrup and you spent, a little bit of time to do that. And you're going to use them again. So
Yeah.
the
That's awesome.
whole point of the book is to be mindful.
This might be a sequel, so it's okay if you didn't do this. But food pairings, are there like food pairing ideas with each drink?
Yeah. So actually, I did an event at Franca's Wine Room where we did, it was for Mother's Day. It was called Mocktails and Mamas. And we made 3 different mocktails and we paired it with 3 different like appetizers. So it was like a food pairing idea. And I would love to, be doing something like that with more restaurants. But I don't have like that culinary experience.
Right.
So I don't know if I could create the food recipes necessarily that would always go with them. But if I could work with a culinary expert on that, I would love to. If you have any ideas, hit me up, Scott.
We got a lot of ideas. Ideas aren't the problem, Chris.
All right. So what can guests expect? You're doing your launch party at the Portal on November 15th.
Yep.
Why don't you give us a little bit of information on that?
Absolutely. All right. So November 15th, join me and Shalane from the Portal. There is going to be a welcome mocktail from my book, The 12 Sips of Christmas. And then I am going to demo another mocktail from the book in front of you, and you will all get to taste the drink. I will guide you through a intentionally mindful sipping exercise. And then Shalane is going to be doing a little bit of sound healing with that, so she'll be playing some instruments and it'll be a real amazing immersive experience. This book is special to me in so many ways, but I'm also giving back to the Center for Family Life and Recovery. So a portion of the proceeds from my book will go to them, and $10 from every ticket sale from this event will also be going to Center for Family Life and Recovery. So,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Where do people get tickets?
You can get them right from the Portal. We actually just launched the event, so really excited about that. And it's right on their website.
Share one, not your favorite drink, but maybe one of your favorite drinks. And then share a story of maybe trying to create a mocktail that just went totally bad.
Okay.
I imagine that sometimes things sound like they'll taste good and then you taste it and you go, because I love to cook. And
Yeah,
at times
yeah.
I go, oh my gosh, this is terrible.
I'll eat it.
Yeah.
I'll eat anything.
So I had this event for the Oneida Health Foundation. I had to serve 2 different mocktails. They actually reached out to me back in April when I just started this business. And they're like, we're having a, sip and sizzle barbecue. It's a fundraiser for the foundation, and we would love to have you there. Obviously my drinks are about health and wellness. So I was, trying to think of like, what drinks am I going to make for this? And, up until like the week of, I had a couple of ideas in my head, but then on Thrive Market, there was this crazy deal on this powder called Camu Camu powder. And that is an incredible superfood. It is berries that are from a tree in the Amazon that literally is in the Amazon River. It is submerged with water. These berries soak in all of that biodiversity from the river floor, and the vitamin C content in this is absolutely incredible. So I ordered that ingredient, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to mix this into one of the drinks that I'm going to make at the event. So I did a Camu Camu grape mojito. So what it was grape juice, Camu Camu berry powder, muddled mint, seltzer, lime. Think of just like a regular mojito, but made with the grape juice. Polyphenols, health benefits with that, and then the Camu Camu. So it was just this powerful, like healthy drink. And I tasted it, and I was like, okay, Cristi, you can do this. So I served it, to 150 guests, and the feedback was incredible. So that was really fun and cool. And it just like a last minute, like, oh, let me buy this ingredient and see what happens.
Is that like crazy expensive?
It usually is, but it was on sale. So
Okay.
I was like, I'm going to do it. It's like usually like $30-something for a packet, but I think it was on sale for $7. I'm like, I'm going to take advantage of this and see how it goes, And then what would you call those? Horror stories.
Yeah.
I was making a blueberry juice with coconut milk and pineapple juice and lime juice. I was shaking all that up and I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And then something with the pressure in the shaker bottle from those ingredients with the lime and whatever, like the shaker bottle just like the top popped off and like literally the drink went everywhere.
Chemical reaction.
I know, literally.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, okay. So I'm like, maybe I won't do this in one of my workshops, but the drink was delicious, but it was all over the
Picturing
wall.
like
the
mad
floor.
scientist.
Yeah. Oh,
Cristi.
yeah.
Bubbling
I took a picture. It literally was like the death of a mocktail. There was like blueberry juice everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I can go deep into so many different things here. The wellness piece, I want to go back to that. So, you're a certified wellness coach. What does that mean?
Yeah. So wellness is literally everything. It can be from, your nutrition. It can be from your personal training or your strength training. But it also is the mindful component, sleep. Think about every single aspect of your life that could potentially make you feel well. And I've been really obsessed with the blue zones. Have you guys heard much about that?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
These people in Sardinia, and they're living to over 100 years old, and they're getting
With
their steps
vitality.
in. They're walking.
Like, I mean, they're living well.
Yeah, they're living well. They're healthy. They're vibrant.
They're not just alive like our 100-year-olds here.
Yeah, and you think about that, with wellness, like, what are they doing? And, there obviously is a lot of research and everything about that, but the big thing that I drew from that is community. And they are talking with their neighbors. They have people come over. They're all cooking together. And that is a huge component of wellness that people often don't think about. Like I said, you think about your nutrition. You think about, am I getting my steps in? Am I doing this? Da, 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 da. But we are on our phones. We are so isolated, and that is taking off years of our lives. So, with this wellness coach certification, I'm teaching people about the importance of the community. And with the Mindful Mixer, I do that in my workshops.
Yeah, it's a true, I don't know if epidemic's the right word, but it's a situation, right? That is like growing rapidly. People are lonely and is leading to depression and all sorts of other, bad health situations. Let's cheat off your paper personally, because the other thing about blue zones is, they typically grow their own food.
Yeah.
They barter.
They
only do what they need to survive.
They're working their own,
comfortable.
their exercise is
They're walking.
they're walking, they're farming, they're gardening, they're
vitamin D, they're getting that. They're getting outside.
They're outside. So what does your personal wellness look like? Give us some hacks or insight there.
Oh yeah. Here we go. So I make sure before I go to bed, I stop looking at my phone. I shut down my laptop. 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, that's it. I'm not looking at it anymore. I'm making sure that I'm having that time to be present, do my breath work, listen to a little bit of music, do some meditation to calm my body from the day, the stress of the day, get myself prepared for sleep. We spend a huge chunk of our lives sleeping and in bed, and I pay extensive, that's really important to me, sleep. So I make sure that I'm getting between 8 and 9 hours a night. I go to bed usually around like 8 o'clock. And then I get up around like 5:30 in the morning. Let's see, what else? When I wake up, I'm not looking at my phone or laptop right away. I make sure that I get up. I have a little stretch session that I do, drink a lot of water throughout the day. I eat mostly whole foods, and I make sure I try to get outside and breathe and get some sun on me for that natural vitamin D. I know now we're starting to get into the season where we're getting less and less of that. But just trying to get those little snippets throughout the day as much as possible.
Let's talk about the sleep itself. Anything as far as like mattress, like we have a weighted blanket. We have a friend that swears by a little elevation at the head. Like you shouldn't sleep laying flat. It should be elevated.
Yep.
Any thoughts around the bed setup itself?
Sure. So my husband and I actually have 8 Sleep. I don't know if you've heard about that, but it's like an AI powered sleeping pad. But it literally regulates the temperature of the bed based off of your temperature of your body.
Oh my God, I would
My
so
husband
benefit
had
from
these
that
crazy-
right now.
It's going to cost us money.
I mean, Black Friday's coming up, so they're probably gonna have some deals.
My birthday
I
is
know.
soon.
My birthday. I don't work for 8 Sleep or make any money from them, but my husband was like having these like awful night sweats, and he would try to scoot to my side of the bed. I'm like, this isn't working. We need to do something. So we invested in this thing, and it's incredible. Like, not only does it like regulate the temperature of the bed, but it tells you how your REM is, like how your deep sleep, everything. It tells you how many hours you're sleeping. It tells you if you're in a sleep deficit or over, and it's just absolutely incredible. I mean, you can get a little bit obsessive over it. Sometimes I do, but your HRV score, your heart rate variability, and I recognize that was extremely important when I'm training. I'm a personal trainer. I'm strength training. I'm trying to build muscle, but I also want to make sure that my cardiovascular health is, up to snuff where it needs to be. And HRV is incredibly important for that. But in addition to 8 Sleep, the things that I would recommend is making sure your room is completely dark. If you need to have some sort of like noise machine or something on to help you sleep. I do sleep with an eye mask over my head, because even just that little bit of blue light or light coming through the curtains, that can dysregulate your sleeping. And then, like I said, the blue light before bed is extremely important to just like, and I'm sure that, this is becoming a buzzworthy thing, and like they're talking about it more and more, like how terrible that is for you.
On many levels, yeah.
We know that. And so I guess that there's just a lot here, like, and so many people, like, we know sleep is important. So many people want to take a drug to help them go to sleep. Or a new fad now is the magnesium on your feet or whatever. And a lot of times just exercising, like you just brought up, helps with your sleep because your body needs time to recover. Those muscles need that time to recover. And if people would just try these little practices that you're talking about throughout the day, drink more water, exercise, other things, their sleep may improve naturally just from doing those other things.
100%, 1,000%.
And the other thing that I want to bring up with sleep is the connection that alcohol has with sleep. And if you want to talk a little bit about, I'm sure a lot of people do know that, but if you want to talk a little bit about the research that's out there now on alcohol and how it affects your sleep, especially for women, I think. But
yeah. Alcohol, obviously, we all know it's a drug. It's something that's bad, but it's a poison that you're literally putting into your body. Don't get me wrong. I went to Italy earlier this year and I enjoyed some red wine and it was delicious. But it's, when you're consuming that alcohol, like your body is not understanding, like it is literally changing things in your body. And when you're trying to sleep, like that alcohol is infusing into your bloodstream and you're not going to get that appropriate. So you think, oh, well, let me have a glass of wine before I go to bed and hit me, like, it'll knock me out. But truly it's going to decrease your, the quality of your sleep tremendously.
Yeah. And I listened to something that, they said, obviously, like if you're having dinner and you want to have a glass of wine, that's fine, but give your body time to metabolize it before you go to sleep.
Yeah.
And not that this person was saying, like, drink wine at like noon. That way I get a better night's sleep. Like, that's not the point. But the complete opposite of like what you said, the worst thing you can probably do is consume alcohol right before you go to bed.
Absolutely. And honestly, to change the subject a little bit, the same thing with coffee. Coffee, everybody's like, oh, let me get my 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Let me have my coffee. But there's a half-life to coffee. And, you have that cup at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's still in your bloodstream at 9 o'clock at night. So you're not going to get that appropriate sleep. Like, same thing with alcohol. That coffee is, it's incredible and we all use it and it's normal. It's normalized. But, just be cognizant of when you're having that. And, instead of grabbing for that second cup of coffee, maybe grab something that has superfoods in it that is going to keep you energized, but also be good for your body and for your sleep.
The Mindful Mixer is less than a year old. right? Baby.
The baby.
What surprised you? What's been the biggest challenge having a business like this that's around mindfulness and living with intent? Do you have to explain this to people, or do people who get it find you?
Do you know, it's interesting because some people, what you just said, people who get it, they find me. But the people that don't get it, it's not necessarily for them, or maybe they don't understand it yet. There was a point in my life where, I was young, I had just graduated college, and my boss was meditating in his office, and I'm like, he's meditating in his office. Like, what the heck is he doing? Wacko,
Yeah,
but. Eventually you get to that point where you're like, it just makes sense, and you crave it and you need it, and it is good for your body and your soul. And so yeah, I would say my biggest challenge, I don't know, getting the word out there, but I feel like I've been able to do that, little by little. I've been in this business for 7 months now, and things are going amazing, and I'm so grateful. And just this community alone, Central New York is absolutely incredible. It's not just where I grew up, it is where the Mindful Mixer was born.
Yeah.
And the people that reach out to me and say, hey, Cristi, like, what do you need? Or, hey, I know you don't know me, but I saw what you're doing, and, who can I connect you with? How can I help you? And it's just, I just reached out and I'm able to be on your podcast, and this is incredible. And I just, the level of gratitude that I have is truly my heart, and I'm just thankful.
So I just wonder, have you always been like this? Like, when you look back at your younger self, what do you think she would say about you today?
I mean, she was knocking the meditator, so definitely not.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Throwing
this
shade at the
transformation,
poor
like,
guy.
I think, I was so focused on like fitness and nutrition and like that part of it. And I think that near-death experience, honestly, just like pushed me towards like the mindful part of it, and just being like, whoa, like, it's not, obviously it's the fitness and nutrition, but like, let's have gratitude. Let's appreciate life. Let's slow down, take a beat, take some breaths, be present, because you can die at any moment. Anything could happen at any moment in your life. And if you're not enjoying this life, this one body that you have, this one life that you have to live, what's the point?
Yeah. It's also the people you surround yourself with.
for sure.
Because people like you will bring together this community like you're doing with the Mindful Mixer, and they're like-minded people who get it, who appreciate it, and you elevate others in that thinking, and the gratitude and the slowing down, and there's power in community. And so love what you're doing. What's the vision for the future?
So, as I mentioned, a portion of my sales is going to the Center for Family Life and Recovery, but the other portion is going to trademarking my business, because I want to be able to grow this. I want to be able to bring this to other communities. I have had people reach out to me who found me on the internet from California, from Chicago, from Arizona, and I've had phone calls and emails like, hey, like, I just kind of came across your business on a whim, on a Google search, whatever. Do you do anything like that out here? Can you do anything like that out here? And I'm like, not yet, but let's go. I could do it. Why not? So I maybe a franchise model in the future, hiring some staff. But my first step is to be able to trademark and, safeguard my business, so that I can provide this opportunity to many other people and communities.
Not cheap, by the way, thousands and thousands of dollars to trademark a business, but God bless America.
Yeah.
No, nothing against lawyers. We've had a couple on.
No? You need them at times, for sure.
I could go on forever, but
I know. Should we rapid fire?
Yeah, but before we do that, I do want to go back to the event on the 15th because space is limited.
Yep.
Yeah, so I would hopefully we're available. I'd love to be there.
I don't have.
And yeah, but you don't need to check right now. But so yeah, November 15th, the portal. You can get tickets at the portal. You can connect
online
with Cristi through all kinds of ways, right? LinkedIn, Facebook.
Yeah, we'll be marketing it all over the place.
We'll tag all this in the show notes. But I would definitely encourage people to get there. We struggle, this society talks about how well, times are tough, or, people don't have, but it's all BS, right? Like the amount of consumer spending is through the roof. And in this digitized world that we live in, everything just kind of feels the same and boring often. And that's all to say, like, this is such a cool, unique idea for a thoughtful gift, right? I'm thinking like my own employees, like what do I get them, and it's, to bring it together where you can do like an event where you gather the people, everyone gets a book, everyone gets the experience, they get takeaways. Like, it's just timely and it's unique. And I think November 15th is a great time to kick it off. And then you have a goal, correct?
Yeah.
For how many books you're looking to sell. I think it's very attainable.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, it's 175 books I'm looking to sell. I've already sold 65 of them, and I just launched a couple of days ago. So super, again, grateful for that. But yeah, that'll help me be able to, get started with the trademarking process.
Yeah. So if you're looking for a gift, let's help Cristi get to that number. I'm sure you're going to have that number by the 15th.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right. So Lindsay does a great job of sending out, thoughts and questions. She's our executive assistant who helps book all of these. And sometimes guests reply, sometimes they don't. Shockingly, Christy's like, rapid fire, let's go.
I know, right?
That was your reply. I was cracking up. I'm like, she hasn't even seen the questions. She's fired up about them. So we went with a lot.
Yeah, we got 10 of them because we know you're going to be super good at this.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a record, but it's up there.
I think it is.
All right, let me get.
It's our first time at Impact X. We had to step it up.
Okay, ready?
Okay, hopefully I don't disappoint you guys.
Oh my God, you're not going to disappoint. Favorite wellness ritual?
I would say having that time in the evening. Oh, I do take an Epsom salt bath a couple times a week. Love it.
Okay.
Go-to ingredient in a mocktail?
Mint.
One word to describe your mission?
Powerful.
Most surprising benefit of being alcohol-free?
Enjoying the moments and not feeling like I need the alcohol.
Favorite holiday tradition?
I was baking cookies, but now it's going to be making mocktails.
Best advice you've received? It's always a good
my grandpa, with his note that fell out of the cabinet. You can overcome, you can rise, you can climb.
Yeah.
A wellness myth you wish would disappear?
I don't know. Like working out and, wanting to, look good for the gram, I'd say.
What's always in your fridge?
Kombucha.
I tried
Right,
so hard.
Let's stop there. What is it?
It's a fermented drink.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Remember I used to drink, and
It's probiotics, so it has
Yeah.
live probiotics in it. There's so many different brands and different flavors and stuff.
I guess I just got to find one. Maybe you'll give me a tip on a good one because
Yeah.
I've tried multiple ones and I don't know.
You were drinking
Or like Olipop, Good Culture.
Well,
like,
so because the whole drink, he's going to say you drink the apple cider vinegar.
Yeah.
And I will do a shot of that because like I just choke it down.
yeah,
but
yeah,
that whole big drink, I'm like, I can't.
So apple cider vinegar is totally different than kombucha. Like I can't get down with that. Like I understand the health benefits of it and everything.
Right.
I do drink some. I do partake every once in a while, but
Anyway,
kombucha over that any day.
where do you buy groceries?
Hannaford, or like I said earlier, Thrive Market, the online organic grocery store.
One intention you set each morning?
Breathe, and you're gonna have a great day.
Cristi Kaido, the Mindful Mixer.
So much fun.
Yeah. I'm super excited for you.
Thank you. I appreciate
You have
that.
an energy and a vibe about you that's strategic and intentional, right, by design. But more importantly, you're giving people the blueprint and the path to help them do the same. So
That's what it's all about.
cheers to success in your future, my friend.
Thank you. I should have brought some mocktails. I'm sorry.
You blew it. Thanks for nothing.
Thank you.